any artist, young, old, whatever, if you truly have the love and the passion for it, and that goes for anything in life, in any career or whatever you feel inside of your soul that, I want to do this. I love this for some reason. You have to pursue it, bro. I'm working on an album with Anthem Menace, The West, and Upstate Militia, and it's going to be called The Four Horsemen.
Wow.
And we're looking to do something very lyrical, and we got Beats Low Key, who is our
Yeah.
producer and just talented, and so these other artists I'm working with is raw talent, bro. They can spit lyrically, and so it's just I don't know. For me being older, I just felt I had to put something together. You know what I mean? And yeah, I gotta show respect and give love to all the artists that jumped on that track. We're trying to send a message to let uh, people know out there that it's all right to have unity.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show another legend. We got Hectic. How are you, man?
Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate for having me. Thank you.
Man,
Much
that's
respect, brother.
oh man, likewise. Thanks for coming on. I've been following your music and yeah, I've come across you through Kokane, so he's another legend.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of my role models.
Yeah, definitely a good role model to have. I wanna
Yes.
I wanna start off. Whereabouts did you grow up, and what was it like where you grew up?
So I grew up in Anaheim, California, and I got two older brothers, two younger sisters, and a younger brother. Uh, the way I grew up, it was a little rough. Dad sold drugs, and mom worked, so just kind of little domestic violence too going on in the household and stuff. So just a little, exposed to a lot going on at a young age.
Yeah, yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I'm glad you're still with us now, and I want to ask how did you first come across getting into music? What was your inspiration, and when did you first start?
So when I was about, probably 5, 6, 7, my brothers they had a ghetto blaster, in the neighborhood, and break dancing was in at that time, so I would sit there and watch them break dancing. Then I started break dancing, and right off the bat, just from break dancing, you can't break dance without music. So I fell in love with the music, and just from there, I just started listening more and more to hip hop, and just the music that was going on, the old school and all that. And that's when I started realizing that it was more than a love for music. It was also a gift.
Yeah, you're incredible too. I want to ask you who your inspirations were when you were younger.
Oh, definitely cocaine. Cocaine, Easy E. I mean, Ice T. Uh, even New York old school. You had Curtis Blow, MC Shan. I kind of grew up on the East Coast, West Coast era. Back in the '80s, '90s, and so I feel like I was influenced by everybody. KRS-One, just a group, of all hip hop legends, that kind of molded me, and I tried to give respects and show love to all of them because, in the end of the day, hip hop was created by all of them, and you have to pay, homage to the true pioneers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're all incredible artists too. I'm glad you said MC
Definitely,
Shan
bro.
too. He's awesome.
That's the old school, and I can go on and name, just other
Yeah,
ones. It's just, I gotta throw some names out there.
yeah, nah, definitely, it's cool. I've been listening to Red Rum. That's a banger, man.
Yeah,
And
thank you,
the
brother.
video clip's awesome as well.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, that's one song I'm really I'm really proud of. And I mean, all my music, in the end of the day, I give 100%. And it kind of started off with that one, with the Red Rum is the one that really kind of kicked me into pursuing this, going full heartedly into it, because, as an artist, and especially as a Mexican artist, it's easy to get, you know, uh, where you kind of just want to give up. You don't get the support like everybody else, but if you have the love for it, you got to keep going, and you're not doing it for really the support. You're doing it because it's something you love to do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I've got to say the too. I loved you on We Hit 'Em Up. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, 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 and yeah, I gotta show respects and give love to all the artists that jumped on that track. We're trying to send a message to let uh, people know out there that it's all right to have unity. You know what I mean, within your own community. You know
Yeah,
what I mean, in a sense where I mean, how long do we got to keep killing each other and hurting each other and seeing our mothers bury us and go through the pain? There's no need for that. So I think as being older and having experience, I think it's a good message to put out there for other counties and other rappers, and just to say, hey, bro, you can do your thing, but you ain't got to hate on the next man, bro. You know what I mean? We can all eat. There's enough for all of us to eat. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, definitely. There's another great film clip as well. You all killed it on there. It was good.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, bro.
And I want to ask, how did you first meet Cocaine and come to be working with him?
Oh man, that was a blessing in disguise, bro. I've always wanted to meet him, and I never thought, it would happen. But yeah, I ended up I was chilling with my boy the West, and he's like, "Hey, bro, you got to do a freestyle to some cocaine shit, man, and we'll tag him." And I was like, "You think so?" And he's like, "Yeah, bro." So he threw on raindrops, and it was
Yeah,
history after that. We tagged Coca, and he ended
yeah,
up reaching out to me, bro, and I was able to get a feature, and we established a relationship, professional and family,
yeah,
in a sense, because he's a great man, you know what I
yeah,
mean, and a very respectful, humbly individual, So when I was able to talk with him, and he was excited to see that, he had influence on me, as well as a lot of these artists, especially him with the scene, the hooks,
yeah,
from him to Parliament to George Clinton to Bootsy Collins.
yeah,
Those are all, the artists that even Cameo, and just
yeah,
they have that distinguishment about them that separates them from everybody else.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad you did hook up with Cocaine, and I love the song you did with him too for the OGs.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, brother. Classic right there.
That was awesome. Another good film clip as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we're also gonna be shooting the video for No Shit. I did that
Yeah,
track with Cocaine too, so that one's gonna be a special video as well. I mean,
yeah,
anything I do, I try to give 100%, especially when it's with Coca, and
yeah,
we got that bond, that respect.
yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for the video. That'll be awesome because, yeah,
Yeah,
all your
yeah.
videos are good too. Is it the same
Thank
person
you,
making
brother.
them?
I've had two to three different people, but I
Yeah,
try to tend to stay with those guys, and we support each other, and you
yeah,
know, uh, we all come up, then one comes up, we all come up,
yeah,
in a sense.
yeah. That's awesome. Unity.
Yeah,
And I want to ask,
brother.
what's the next 12 months got in store for you? What can we expect?
I'm working on an album with Anthem Menace, The West, and Upstate Militia. He's from upstate California, and it's going to be called The Four Horsemen.
Wow.
And we're looking to do something very lyrical, and we got Beats Low Key, who is our
Yeah.
producer, and he's a Samoan, a
Yeah.
Uso brother. Yeah, from
That's
he's out in New Zealand, and just talented, and
yeah.
so these other artists I'm working with is raw talent, bro. They can spit lyrically, and so it's just I don't know. For me being older, I just felt I had to put something together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And take it to the next step with these guys. And
Yeah.
push something out there that you haven't seen. You haven't seen four dope ass artists like these guys and myself that are about to drop some heat on that ass.
And what a great name too, the Four Horsemen. That's awesome.
Right? And we
That's
can
cool.
flip that so many ways. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Man, definitely. That's crazy. I love
Yeah,
it.
bro.
Are you gonna
Yeah,
have
right on,
more
man.
music with Cocaine as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna keep building with Cocaine.
Yeah.
You know, the next album, I'm gonna sit down and talk with them and see if we can get Corrupt, Daz, and a couple other well-known artists as well. Kind of do a little feature, more
Yeah.
features on this next album.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. You and Craft would be awesome together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got to meet him, and he actually told me like, "Yeah, man, once we hit the studio, we'll cook some up." I said, "Let's
Yeah.
go, bro." You
Man,
know?
that's incredible. Who else is someone that you haven't worked with that you'd like to?
If I had the opportunity, bro, I would love to work with Scarface, bro.
That'd
You
be
know,
awesome.
Scarface is another role model of mine that I can say had influence, as well as Tupac and, a couple other artists. But obviously, the ones that are here, I would have to say Scarface, bro, and,
Yeah.
and even Cube, but
Yeah.
mainly Scarface and Nas as well.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to Nas, and Method Man and Redman would be something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be super dope, bro.
Yeah.
Those are artists that I grew up listening to. Eminem. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to respect Eminem in the game, mandatory, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
So,
Yeah.
he's a legend, bro, a great. And
Yeah.
so, it's always good to be able to, dream of those ideas, of being
Yeah.
able to work with those artists. And who knows? I mean, God can open any doors. And,
Yeah.
if things were possible, bro, I would love it, brother.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to
Yeah.
ask, what advice would you give someone who's starting out?
I would give any artist, young, old, whatever, if you truly have the love and the passion for it, and that goes for anything in life, in any career or whatever you feel inside of your soul that, I want to do this. I love this for some reason. You have to pursue it, bro. Don't ever give up. I don't care what anybody tells you, bro. Until you failed 1,000 times and you feel you're done, then you give up and you can decide what else you want to do. But if you failed 1,001 and you still wake up the next day and you say, I still want to do this, well, you better keep doing it, bro. You know what I mean? And don't ever give up. It doesn't matter how old you are. And that's that's something that Cocaine's always told me is, hey, bro, it doesn't matter how old you are. Look at me. And I always look at that. And if it wasn't for Coca telling me that, bro, I would have gave up a long time ago as well, bro.
Yeah.
Just from the simple fact of, I mean, how can you not give yourself that opportunity when we have other role models and examples around us saying, hey, look at me, I'm still doing it. What's your excuse? You know what I mean? Are you a
Yeah.
quitter? Or you gonna at least say, hey, you know what? I tried my hardest and whatever happened, happened, but hey, I'm okay with it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, don't give up, bro. Never
Yeah.
give up, brother.
Man, that's a great advice too. Thanks for that.
You got it, brother.
And when you're not making music, what are you doing? What do you like doing?
So when I'm not making music, I mean, my main priority are my daughters, bro. You know, I take pride in being a good father, bro. I love my girls with all my heart, bro. They're everything to me, and if I can stretch, anything as well to any man or artist out there or whatever they're doing is if you have kids, man, be a good father, be a good mother. You know, they didn't ask to be brought into this world and you brought them in here, so you better take care of them and you need to look out for them and that's the best feeling you can get, bro. So that's my main thing is I like to do is that and spend time with my lady. You know, that's what I mean. If it's not music, it's that and just working, bro.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, family's everything. It's real
Families
important.
first, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I got two kids, and first the same thing. I love spending time with them.
Yeah, they're blessings, bro, and they grow up fast, brother, and they're
Yeah,
gonna remember everything you did for them, bro. And when we're old and we can't wipe our own ass,
yeah,
we hope they wipe it for us.
yeah, yeah. It's
Right?
going full circle.
You know what I mean, though, bro.
Yeah,
Take care of me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You ain't got to do all that, but just take care of me.
yeah. Look after us. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah. And I want to ask too, getting to know you. What's your top three films of all time? Get to
Top
pick
three
three movies.
film.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you, number one is Scarface, bro.
yeah,
That's number one. You can never go wrong with Scarface, and I'm a big Al Pacino and Robert De Niro fan, and Heat. I
yeah,
also love the movie Heat. Yeah,
yeah,
Heat is a sick movie, bro, and obviously Colors because I grew
yeah,
up when it was cracking in the '80s, and
yeah,
it's just a classic, bro. You know what I mean? Those are
yeah,
just classic movies that The Bronx Tale. I mean, fuck,
yeah.
bro.
That's a great
There's
movie as well.
great films, bro, that have an impact and tell the reality,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
how life could be.
yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, that's all great films too. I'm glad you said that. It's an
That's right,
awesome
bro.
choice. I want to watch Heat again now. Yeah, it's been a
Uh,
while.
Val Kilmer, all of
Yeah,
them, bro. They all did a great job on that movie. That is a
incredible.
classic, and it didn't get the recognition. Only certain people know about it, but
Yeah,
everybody should watch that movie, bro.
yeah,
It's just a dope flick.
yeah, definitely. And if you had to pick three albums to listen to, like you're stuck on an island and you can only pick three albums, what are you taking?
Man, I would have to take number one would have to be Bacon Soda Free, Cocaine.
Yeah.
I had that album.
Wow.
And yeah, and Above the Law, Uncle Sam's Curse. That was another one of my fucking albums that I just, I had to bang that shit. And, All Eyes on Me, Tupac, bro. The
Wow.
double CD, you can never go wrong
Yeah.
with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every track is a banger. So,
Yeah.
you know,
That's crazy. I love like the double CDs and back in the day. That was awesome.
oh yeah, bro. There's just so much classics that, especially, in the 80s and 90s that, even some people didn't even know about,
Yeah.
even till this day that they have no idea, who they are,
Yeah.
but hopefully they do their research if they're real hip hop artists, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah,
That's right, bro.
they recommend there they start off with the greats like yeah, cocaine and iced tea, like you
Yeah.
said.
Oh
It's,
yeah, bro.
yeah, cocaine, absolute legend. And what I want to ask, what's your like process when you make a song? How does it all come
So
together?
so what I do when I write music and I'm focused on the song, I have to listen to the beat. I have to marinate on the beat. I can tell right off the bat if the beat is going to be something like personal or if it's gonna be something of like a hood banger or a club banger. I feed off of the beat. The rhythm I get off of it, and that's when I'm able to start creating. And I say, okay, I start freestyling to it, and then I start picking up that vibe from the freestyle, and that's when I create my hook. I'll build the hook, and once I get the hook, then I have everything I need to go off of. You know what I mean? Because my main thing is the hook.
Yep.
The hook's got to be catchy, and the hook's got to go with the beat. So once I got that, bro, I know the subject. Then I just get in the zone and I start writing, bro.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love because everyone's got their own way of doing stuff. So I wanted to ask you, like, that's cool.
Yeah, and I gotta blaze a little, and
Yeah.
be able to just, like I said, marinate it and fill it out, and then that's when the creative juices start flowing, and I start saying, okay, this is where it's sending me to. This is the topic,
Yep.
boom, that's it, brother.
Man, I love it. And you've got an incredible wordplay as well. Where do you get all your inspiration from? What inspires you?
uh, you know, uh, as far as life, you mean?
Yeah, and do you like read a lot or do you
I
just
would have to say, well, uh, I did when I did my jail time.
yeah,
I did read a lot, bro. I mean, I read a lot of fucking books, and I'm talking about 1,500 page books, 2,000 page books. I mean, yeah, that's one thing I did in jail is I read a lot. What inspires me as far as to write my stuff, I would just have to say what I went through, bro. And what I observed, growing up, and being able to be a voice for that,
yeah,
so people can not feel like they're the only ones going through those situations in life, because we all go through things in life, and when we're going through those things, we feel like we're the only ones going through that.
yeah,
So, for me to be able to speak about those situations that I've observed or been through, uh, that inspires me when people hit me up, bro, and they tell me, "Hey, man, you know that song you did?" Just like the other day at work, a plumber hit me up and he's like, "Hey, you know that song you did with your mom? She comes out in the video, and she's crying because you got shot." And he's like, "Bro, he's like, I wasn't talking to my mom for a while, and after I seen that video, I picked up the phone and I called her and I said, you know what, mom, it's not that serious. I love you. I want to go see you. So
yeah,
those things, bro, is that makes me feel good, bro. Is that people can find some type of comfort in my music, bro, and they can be like, you know what, fuck, man, I'm not alone, like fucking Hectic, he knows what's up, man, he's probably been through that shit too, so that's cool, like hell yeah, I ain't alone, and that's what music is supposed to be, bro. It's supposed to be inspiring, bro. And it's got to have a feel behind it, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I would have to say, it's just the life lessons and things that I've been through. And ultimately, I do have to give, praise to God, bro, because, he's done a lot of things in my life, bro, that has helped me out. I can be a badass, bro, and I'm not perfect. And somebody can walk up to me and come at me sideways. I'm gonna handle my biz, bro. But I don't go to do that. You know what I mean? I've changed, from how I grew up. Because we get older, you get wiser, and you just
yeah,
start looking at life a lot different. So, I would have to say that, bro. God and the things that I went through in life, bro. The experiences is what has
yeah,
inspired me, and of course, my mother. I love my
yeah.
mama.
That's awesome. And yeah, I love that story you said before. Yeah, that guy called his mum and went and made amends. That's cool. That's incredible that you had that effect.
Yeah, bro. That's a good feeling.
Yeah. And did any of the books that you read like stand out to you that you'd recommend to anyone or had an impact?
Yeah, it's funny because I become a critical thinker, and I love reading all types of books. It's not don't it's read what you believe, don't believe what you no, it's don't read what you but no what is it? Believe what you read, don't read what you something like that. I got it twisted up.
Yeah.
But I would say Behold the Pale Horse.
Yeah. Okay. I have to check
Yeah,
that
Behold
out.
yeah, by Michael Cooper. Yeah,
Michael
you're
Cooper.
gonna trip out on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a book that I've recommended to everybody that I've met. And if they've ever asked me, hey, bro, what book do you recommend? Read that, bro. And
Yeah.
it'll open up your mind to a whole different perspective.
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
right,
getting
brother.
some new reads. So yeah, cool. Thank you.
You got it, bro.
And with hey, you talked about when we talked about who you'd like to work with, like Daz Craft. What about producers? Is there any producers that you'd love to work
Uh,
with?
Producers, I mean, well-known producers. I mean, shit, you already know Dr. Dre would be
Yeah,
hands down pretty dope, to be able to be in the studio with somebody like him, DJ Quick, I know
yeah,
he produces too. So,
yeah.
I got to meet DJ Battle Cat, so that would be dope to be able
Yeah.
to work with him,
He's incredible.
on a project. Oh yeah, he's West Coast.
Yeah,
He's part of the West Coast. So when you name West Coast, he's got to be there, So
yeah,
definitely, bro,
yeah. 100%. I love Battle Cat. I'm a huge fan. No,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You and Battle Cat, that'd be a cool combination, I reckon.
Yeah, bro, that would be dope, man.
Yeah. And it's uh what would be your message to the world, I guess?
My message to the world, bro, and let this go globally, bro,
Yeah,
is treat others the way you want to be treated, bro. Plain and simple. You know what I mean? And respect everybody, bro, because you don't know what anybody's been through, bro. They can walk out of their house or looking like a normal person, but you don't know the weight they got on their shoulders. You don't know the stuff they're going through. You don't know if they lost a family member. So, you know, have some empathy, bro. You know what I mean? Just, understand that, we all go through battles and we all go through trials and tribulations and,
yeah,
you know, it's not good to judge, bro. So just, be considerate, you know what I mean? And like I said, treat others the way you want to be treated. Cause when you have your kids, I'm sure you're not gonna want people to treat your kids the way you were treating some people, in your life. And that could be pretty mean because we all know,
yeah,
we could be mean, how people can be. So,
yeah,
you know, I think that's a good message, bro. And I try to be humble and respectful with everybody. It doesn't matter their race, bro, their color, their social status, bro. That's one thing I teach my daughters, is respect everybody, bro. And so hopefully the world can hear that and let it resonate, through the globe. And
yeah,
hey, bro, we're all humans, bro. We're all trying to survive and you know, we may be a little different, but we're all wired, the same fucking bones and blood, scar tissue, and and we love our, kids, our families, our mothers, our fathers. So, in the end of the day, bro, just be human like we were intended to be, bro, and let's treat each other with respect,
yeah,
kindness, and make this world a better place, not just for us, but for our kids, bro.
yeah. Man, that's an awesome message too.
Right on, brother. Appreciate you, bro.
I want to know what's your favorite song of yours?
My favorite song of mine.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's a good one, bro. I would have to say Red Rum, bro.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, 'cause that one really like kicked it all into gear. I would
Yeah,
have to say for myself.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, that one just yeah, bro.
yeah. And what to you makes a good man? Like being a good person, I guess.
Just being honest, bro, being respectful, and you know, uh, you know, treating others, the way you want to be treated, and you know, uh, uh, doing what you need to do as a man, bro. You know what I mean? Taking care of your family and providing and protecting and taking care of your siblings, your mother, your father, just being there.
Yeah,
I think uh, you know that takes a lot. That plays a big part of being a good man, and also you know uh, living your life like people are always watching you, bro, and doing the right thing. You know,
yeah,
never doing things on the shady part, bro, just because people ain't watching or you think you're gonna get away with it, man. Just keep it real, bro. You know, have a
yeah.
good heart, bro. You know what I mean?
Incredible. I love that.
Right on, brother.
Is there anything that I haven't covered that you wanted to cover or I should have?
No, I mean, just that my album's out.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure people will look it up when they say, "Who's Hectic?"
man, go and
Look
get
at
the
the
album
two and
now.
three big. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, and I gotta give a lot of respect and love to Cocaine and Buddy Boy Records, and his wife and his sons that helped me put this together, as well as my boy the West, and
yeah,
the producers Chops and Beats Low Key, and OTR Markham. He's the one that did the mixing and mastering for a lot of my tracks. So yeah, they're the Cape Heroes, the ones that ain't seen behind, Hectic, you know what I mean? That help, Hectic, push that out and get it done, So yeah, it's not me by myself, bro.
yeah,
It's a solid team of, some solid individuals that, backed me up. They believed in me, bro, and I had to uh I had to show up, bro, and let them know that, I appreciate them, and I'm gonna go full heartedly and represent them right as well, not just myself.
yeah. I love that. Like you said, it's a good team. And I'm glad you got that good team behind you and that people got to
Oh yeah,
support.
yes sir.
And yeah, get the album. Yeah, you're incredible. I love what you've been doing,
Thank
and
you, brother.
especially look forward to more of you and Cocaine together as well.
Yeah. And when he comes down, bro, I'm definitely gonna drop that in his ear. Maybe something like even thinking of doing an EP with him, bro. You know what
That
I
would be
mean? At
cool.
least, yeah, a good 5, 6 tracks,
Yeah,
and just me and him, because I mean, shit, man, he creates magic, bro.
yeah.
He is a legend, bro.
Hectic Cocaine. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, well, yeah. You got to
Yeah,
make that happen, bro.
yeah, I will, brother. I will definitely, bro.
Right. Well, yeah. That's incredible. That's yeah. Been through all the questions. I really appreciate your time and thanks for coming
You
on.
got it, brother. Yeah, and thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it, brother. Anything you need,
Yeah.
holler, bro. I'm right here, brother. You got it.
Thanks, bro. Same here. I'll get it all edited. I'll put some clips out.
You got it, brother. Anytime. You let me know. And we're family now, bro. We're connected. So
Yeah, bro.
you know what's up, brother. You need anything, I'm right here, bro.
Thanks, bros. Likewise.
You got it, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you enjoy the rest of your evening, bro.
Thanks, bro. I'm gonna go listen to We Hit 'Em Up again. I've been playing it all
Yeah,
morning here.
right on. Hey, I've been bumping it too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I
that
love.
track too, bro. Right
Yeah.
on, bro.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Okay, you got it, my brother. Have a
Catch you,
good night.
brother.
Take care, and blessings to you and your family, brother.
Likewise to you, brother.
Thomas Berryman TV, MC Wicks. You are now rocking with the greatest. Worldwide universe. Universal, we kick game, drop gems. Knowledge expand the brain. We don't speak no lie, this all factual. Travel through sound waves, international. My aura is shining, but that's natural. From the cosmos, supernatural, extraterrestrial with the ill flow. Too high, too elevated. Art and culture is beautiful, we gon' celebrate it. Documented this history in the making. Connecting with the rest of the planet through conversation. Building from the ground up, this the foundation. Through the power of thought manifestation. Gift the gap, champion rap, greatness. Timeless like hieroglyphs. Who would've ever pictured this? Blow.